Okay, to prepare your tin, make sure you grease it well with some spray oil or butter. I've pre-cut my greaseproof paper. You can use any tin you have at home. So just like we did the other day with the sponge cake, line the tin. Make sure you don't have much overhanging at the top. Remember, we don't want anything catching on fire if you have a gas stove. And that's it. You can. Okay, step 2. You need to peel your apples and dice them. You've got 3 apples. I'm going to use 1 for decoration in the bottom, and the rest are going to be caramelized in a saucepan with a little bit of butter. So first peel it. Remember to try and work into a rubbish bowl so you don't have to pick it all up. Water it, take the seeds out. You want to make sure all these bits are gone and peel it again. All those little bits are green. So I'm going to first do the one to put in the bottom, and I'm just going to do thin slices. And then I'm going to fan them out in my tin. Before I lay it, I've got in here 2 teaspoons of sugar and a teaspoon of cinnamon. Just mix it together so you've got a nice cinnamon sugar. And then just sprinkle some down. And then you're going to use the rest for on top at the end. And now you're just going to layer it in your tin. You can go close together or spread it apart. Just depends on how thin you did it and how many apples you end up with. Now if you don't have apples at home, use any other vegetable, any other fruit, sorry. So a pear, if you don't have a pear, go for a tin something. And if you don't have that, maybe even some frozen fruit. Just you might not be stewing it and caramelizing it like I'm going to in a minute. Okay, so fan it down. If you've got some left over, you're just going to chop it up and then put it in the saucepan. And press stop. So your apples will take maybe 5 minutes. You don't need to stand over it, stirring it every now and then. You will get lots of juices coming out of it because obviously there is a lot of water in fruit. So just monitor it, stir it every now and then, and once you get to a nice golden colour, turn it off. While your apples are cooking slowly, you can start your caramel sauce, custard sauce. So first thing you need to do is separate your eggs. We are keeping the yolk you're going to put the white away for something else for another time. So you only want 3. Remember, if you do split it, hope it just stays in that bowl, and then you can just discard it all. Double check there's no impurities in there, you don't have any blood or it doesn't smell, and then you're good. 3 egg yolks. You're also going to put in here 2 teaspoons of corn flour, tablespoon of custard sugar, and a drop of your vanilla essence or extract, whatever you got at home. Okay, you are going to do this over heat, and you are going to stir it and whisk it until it's nice and thick. At the same time, I'll do that a second, you are going to put on some milk. So in a saucepan, you're going to put some milk, some vanilla, and then bring it to the heat. Okay, so I've got my milk on here. It's just going to be on a warm, low heat. You don't want to bring it to the boil. You only want to bring it to about 70 degrees. So you're just going to keep an eye on it. At the same time, you're going to use it as a double boiler. Try and use a smaller saucepan. And you are going to whisk this all together. Now you can do it by hand, or you can get yourself an electric whisk. It's going to take you a while, just like when we did the other emulsion sauce. So be patient. Once you've brought this together and it's nice and a light colour, then we're going to add the milk. So I've been whisking the eggs for maybe a minute and a half. It is on the low heat. I'm using my apple bowl, and that is on low, so the steam is warming it, making sure that nothing's actually touching the bottom of my bowl. We don't want it to cook and scramble my eggs. We just want to use the steam. Alright, my eggs and sugar and some custard powder is all mixed. You can see it's a thick, beautiful, glossy sabayon there. What you're going to do now, my milk is really warm. Just taking it off before it gets to boiling. Put that there. And you are going to slowly add a little bit of milk. And you're going to whisk it in. Mix all that in, and then you're going to transfer this back into the milk. And on a low temp, you are going to continue stirring it until it coats the back of the spoon. If you're going to turn it up, it might cook and curdle, and you don't want that. So you want it to coagulate and become a nice thick custard. This will take a while, maybe 3 to 5 minutes. So stir, be patient. Okay, the custard I've been stirring for a few minutes. Try not to walk away. I don't want it catching on the bottom, because if you do catch it, you might have to strain it from any little lumps and burnt bits you end up with it. My apples are finished. I've turned them off. They're just sitting there. They're golden. They're very sweet. I have not added any sugar. All the natural sugars that have come out of my apples have caramelized it in a beautiful golden color. Now my custard is done. You can see it's coating the back of the spoon. It's nice, golden. So what I'm going to do is just sit it over some cold water. Try and get the bum of the pot in to touch the cold water. If you don't have a bowl big enough, just put it in the sink. You just want cold water there to the bottom so it stops cooking. Okay, so I've put it in the bowl so the bottom of it is touching the cold water. Keep stirring it as it cools down naturally. You don't want it to turn into a scrambled egg. You can see all the steam coming off it. So it might take you another couple of minutes. It will thicken more as it stands here and gets cooler. Okay, my last thing is we're going to make a cake. So you've done your apple, you've done your custard, now you're going to put your cake together. So you'll need a whole block of butter, which is 250 grams. Do this with an electric beater or a mixer if you've got one. And then you are going to cream your block of butter and a cup of brown sugar together until it's golden and fluffy. Turn it off. So it's starting on a low speed, let it combine, and then just crank it to halfway and let it mix, scraping down the sides every few minutes. So turn it off. If you've got a KitchenAid, just lift it up. If you've got a handheld mixer, just pick it up. Make sure it's turned off before you lift it up. Scrape down the sides and then do it again. You're going to do this for a few minutes until it's all golden and well mixed and delicious. Okay, it has been mixing for a while. That's just my butter and sugar. You can see it's all combined. Can't see any big chunks of yellow butter, and my brown sugar's all mixed in. So now I'm going to add 1 egg at a time, mixing it until it's all in. Remember, crack your egg into a separate bowl first, checking for anything. Now remember, you don't want it to look like that scrambled egg look and split. You want to keep mixing until the butter takes that whole egg. So don't add the other egg too early. Again, scrape down your sides and repeat with the other 2 eggs. See here how much it's increased in volume just from the whipping of it all together. Make sure it's all creamed together well. You'll feel after a while you shouldn't feel any granules of the sugar anymore. It should be all incorporated into that butter. That's why you're whipping it as long as you can. My 3rd egg has been whipped for a couple of minutes. I'm going to turn it off. Check that it's all combined. You can see that it's really smooth and really increased in volume. So now you're going to add all your flour, which is 2.5 cups. I'm going to add half at a time because otherwise you are going to have a big mess. And you're going to put on low first, and then you're going to beat it in on high after it's incorporated. When you find it gets really thick, you're going to start adding some milk, which you have 1 cup of milk as well. Now you can see I've put it in a bowl because you know I'm going to spill it, because you know me, because you've seen me spill lots of things. Okay, now you can crank it. Repeat, add some more flour, Again, on low to start, we don't want it going everywhere. Adding a little bit of milk. Once it's mixed, then you can put it on high again. I've got one more lot to add. I'm just going to scrape down the sides, make sure it's all mixed on the bottom as well. I don't want it to miss a bit. Just double checking everything's getting whipped together. Add all of the last bit of flour, and then I'll add the last bit of milk. On slow again. I'm going to hold off adding all of the milk. It was 1 whole cup. Just see how it takes it. If it needs it, if you find it's really thick, add the rest. If it's sloppy, you know you've added too much. You might have to add a little bit more flour. Checking if I need that last bit of milk in it. Just going to add a little bit more. So I haven't used the whole cup of milk. On low again, let it mix because I don't want it splashing out everywhere, then turn it up. So now you're going to put it all together. Okay, so you've got everything done now. Now you're going to assemble. So you've got your beautiful cake batter. Check that it's all mixed and it's glycering. Remember when it has that scrambled egg look, and if you remember back from other cakes, you'll see it on the side straight away. To fix that, you'll just have to add more flour so you get rid of that little split look. My apples have cooled down. You don't want to add them when they're hot because obviously you'll make that split. And my custard is a lot thicker than what it was. It isn't completely cold, but it has coated the back of the spoon very nicely. So you're just going to layer it and do this in steps. So after you've done first bit, then you're going to put a little bit of apple down. Now remember, it doesn't have to be apple. You could have changed it whatever fruit you like. And then you're going to put a little drizzle of custard, and you're going to repeat. And do the cake, custard, fruit, and be done. Now you can see I'm going to be more than, for this tin size, I'm going to have too much cake. So I'm just going to add the last bit into another one and make a half one. So you'll see that all when it's finished. Finish with a little layer of cake on top. Not as much, you can see that. Just so everything's covered a little bit more. And then you're going to get your sugar, your leftover from earlier, sprinkle it all over, and then in the oven for about 40 minutes. Just depends on what size and what type of cake tin you've used. Check it after 20, give it a spin, and then take it out and let it rest on a wire rack. Okay, cake's been going for quite a while. Check that it's all beautiful and golden. Before you take it out, grab yourself your little skewer and check it comes out clean. If it's really sloppy, maybe leave it a bit longer. So you can just put your finger over it like that. If it's dry, you know it's done. Take it out, leave it on the wire rack to cool for a good half an hour before you take it out of the tin.